Hi YouTube, please give me a moment while I connect Facebook. We'll be getting started shortly. And I think we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody, welcome to our weekly broadcast. I am Sami, Director of Education at T3 Live. Hope you're doing well, hope your weekend is going great. We're going to talk about the market, and we're going to talk about the individual stocks that I have lined up as swing ideas for the week. But before we start, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss is for educational purposes only. If you're new to our channel, please be sure to download the free ebook. Link for that is in the description below. But without further ado, let's get to the charts. If you find benefit in today's video, please be sure to hit the like button. If you have questions, leave a comment or send us an email, info@t3live.com. So the market appears to have topped out for now, at least. This was tough. This was not like it could have been easily predicted, really, because we had a grind up, and every time you thought if you were trying to pick the top, you would have been wrong every single time. And so I don't even attempt to pick the top or to call the top when we have just a grindy uptrend like we've had in the market. The Qs, the SPY, they both were just grinding up. So it's like impossible for me to figure out to call the top, really. There were a couple times when I thought we would start the pullback and it would last like a day or two at the most. And then on Thursday, we had a big gap in Microsoft, in Meta, and the gap itself got sold because it was novice, it was up a lot. Up, and then a 10% gap, or almost 10% gap. So the gaps got sold, and as a result, the market also got sold. And then the sell-off continued on Friday. We closed down about 2%. Well, in the Qs, 2.1, the SPY 1.7, I think, on Friday. So if we were to, I don't even know how to draw a trend line in this case, because you're supposed to connect the most recent higher lows, something like this, basically, because we don't have pivots, so it's very hard to draw a trend line. But however way you draw the trend line, basically we are breaking the trend line, and maybe the trend, I mean, we don't have, again, to break the trend you have to break the pivot lows. So here it is, the pivot lows. So these have to break. We don't have very many pivot lows. Here's one pivot, and so did we break it? I mean, yeah, I don't think so. So, but at the very least, we broke the trend line. And now the next question is, where to? Well, what's the next stop? And the next stop could be the top of that base, which is in the Qs 540. The bottom of the base would be more support, about 520 something. I can look it up, the exact amount. In the Qs 524. In the SPY, the top of the base would be about $600, let's just say. The bottom would be about 593, 92. So that appears to be, to me, the next target area for the market. So in which case we are still lower. Okay, so the bias should be bearish going forward. If we were to also look at the IWM, it dropped a lot and got to support and bounced, the top of that base, got to it and bounced a good amount, but I think it will come back down and get to the bottom of the base on the IWM, and that's about 206 maybe. Let's take a look at the weekly chart real quick. Yeah, I mean, somewhere there. Eventually, if the market really wants to sell off, we'll see the IWM maybe get down to $200. But it's too early to say. We only have had 2 red bars in a row. What if tomorrow the market does something like this? Let's just pretend the market actually tomorrow puts in a big green bar. Then what I would say at that point is we have a line in the sand. I don't know that we're higher. I don't know for sure that we're higher, but we have a line in the sand that we cannot break. If we break it, which would be this pivot here, then we should be much lower. So I want to see what kind of a reaction we get at some point, and that will determine how bearish I will be. But for now, I'm turning bearish, and I'm expecting a sell-off to between the bottom and the top of the base on the Qs and the SPY. And I gave you the levels, but I'm waiting for some kind of a reaction, and based on what type of reaction and whether we fail, we come back down and break the pivot low or not. Based on that, I will be able to determine how long term or how bearish of a top this really was. But as of right now, it's just almost impossible to really tell whether this is a long-term top or just a short-term top. But for now, my bias is going to be bearish. Having said that, unfortunately, all the short stuff, all the bearish stuff, this is not, I wish the bearish list was that long. It's literally, I literally have two symbols on it, because all the bearish stuff already triggered Thursday or Friday. I called the FI short, it triggered. I called the AAL short, it already gapped down. Some of the other shorts that I called already got to target, like LKQ or the UNH, you know, so it's too late, at least based on what I've seen. For the most part, it's too late to short. Maybe the hood is not too late because it's not dropping, but I think it topped out. I called it also short. Hasn't gone anywhere, but now you kind of don't have a good entry on it, on the hood, but it's a climactic sell setup, weekly sell, climactic sell setup. So that's not too late. And then we have the CDNA, which broke down on Thursday, but then ended up putting in a small green bar. So I like it short under the green bar, stop above it, and target down here. Basically, it's not much of a target, but it's better than nothing. And then the NEOG, it wants to drop, but it doesn't want to drop because it's probably at support. So like it short, the longer it bases, the better it becomes. So I'm not actually going to be playing it tomorrow, but if it bases for another day or two or pops a little bit and then comes back in, then I think that would be a good short under here. Okay, so that's the NEOG. Again, the bad thing is with the market dropping for 2 days in a row and then me doing a video after the market drop, the shorts are already too late, right? The longs, we have a few. I forgot to post the right watch list here. Here is the watch list. We have a few items that are still bullish. The AM is gold, so this thing is not going to necessarily follow the stock market. It looks higher, but it looks sloppy. I don't see a good entry, but you see the turn here. So maybe long stop, but I'm waiting for an entry on it. I don't really see a good entry on it. PRLB, also no entry, but I love that monthly chart on the PRLB. So I'm just watching it for now, but that's a beautiful monthly chart. The longer it bases, the better it becomes. So I'm hoping it goes sideways for a couple more days and then long. The NG is the daily buy setup. It's a little bit thin. Oh, is it thin? Maybe not thin. Deep pullback. Not really thin. Deep pullback. Long over 540. Stop under 505 or 507. Target about $6. It's a nice rounded bottom on the hourly chart. It's just a deep pullback. That's the issue. And then ATAI. Remember I showed you the monthly chart on the PRLB and I said it's pretty. Where this is what I envisioned the PRLB to do. Hopefully, look at the ATAI. That's a beauty. Now it already popped. Like I should have gotten it on this day right here. I didn't, unfortunately. Now it has sort of a 1, 2, 3. So long right here, stop right here on the ATAI. It's actually not bad because you got a double top. So the break of a double top on the hourly chart is bullish, and then you have a pivot to use as a stop. So I like it. I like it. Target 1 is about $5. Target 2, who knows, to be determined. You know, target 1, $5. Should go through it. If it's gonna work, it should get to, really should get to here, which is $8 on the ATAI, assuming it works. Because when the market turns bearish, almost everything else turns bearish with it. INSM is a I think is a, see how it says INSM. I don't know how to pronounce it. INSM and INSM. And so it's a biotech. It's so bullish. It doesn't have an amazing entry, but I mean this stock is like unbelievably bullish. Wow. So it dropped from 200 to almost zero, probably to $3-4. Now it's back to 108 and has infinite amount of room almost. So I like it a lot. It's not a very great entry because it already topped basically. The entry should have been here. It wasn't that good of an entry, but now it's a little late, not too late maybe. Over the highs, stop under the pivot. On the INSM, the RNW is not going anywhere. I don't know what's going on with it. It's been basing for a while. It is at the prior resistance, but nice monthly chart overall with that rounded bottom, but it is at the prior high. Maybe it's just dealing with the prior high, but it's a good watch, I think, on the RNW. Then we have the, I'm gonna lower the audio sound a little, sorry. Then we have the RZLV is a buy setup, but pretty sloppy, so it's not quite ready. And then we have the WDH. This is pretty thin. Thin means illiquid or not a lot of shares, not a lot of volume, not high volume. I like it over $1.70 with a stop under $1.59, and target one would be 194. Target two would be up here, $2 to 2 something. And then the last one is the TBH, which is another nice looking buy setup on the daily chart. Pretty interesting. I would say that's actually more interesting. For sure, not the RZLV is not ready yet. So it's one of the most interesting buy setups, long, and then stop right here or under the big green bars low. So some ideas, better than nothing, but admittedly not a ton of ideas for today. All right. I am planning to rescan again as soon as we get a pause or a pop in the market. If we get another drop in the market, then I will not rescan. I will just stick with my watch list right now. But if we get a pop or a pause, I will immediately do another round of scanning, because then we might have more ideas. But for now, that will do it for me for today. I hope this was okay, and I will see you all on the next video. Best of luck with your trading this week. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.